It's my great pleasure to welcome back, after far too long, one of our favorites, guitarist Almitri Tzigane. Wow. Thank you, Ammitri. My goodness, talk about joy right at the top with that music. Good morning, and welcome to Sunday morning service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. We are located on the lands of the Chichimeca, Otomi, and Naua peoples, and are making community in person and by Zoom across Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. Welcome all of you joining us today, wherever you are, whatever your religious background or lack of one, and whoever you love. You can bring your whole self right here. My name is Frank Thoms, a member of the Sunday Service Committee, and I will be your service leader. We want to remind you, again, of a new policy from the Hotel Aldea about parking. While attending our service, parking is free. But if you wish to leave the premises to have lunch somewhere else, please be courteous and check at the front desk to pay for parking. Thanks for your understanding. Also, remember to reserve with Diana Amaya if you wish to attend next week in person, either today, before leaving, or by a quick email at info.unitarian uufsma@gmail.com. We invite you to look in today's order of service for announcements of activities and membership information, and go to our website, uufsma.org, for full information about the fellowship. And now, we have a special, important message from the Ministry Task Force from John Simsarian. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Frank. I know our theme is joy, and it's a joy to be here with you today. This is the first time that I've been back to the Aldea since March of 2020, when we were anticipating the annual meeting and we got shut down. So it is truly a joy to be here today and to think about the wonderful times that we've had together here in this room with this fellowship. I am currently on the task force on the future of ministry, and I wish to give you a short update on the work of this task force. The task force was appointed by the board of directors with the following charge. 1, survey opinions of members on their view of the importance of professional ministry and what they are willing to pay for it. Aha. Number 2, use these data to propose a process to the board of directors by February 1, 2022 on how to achieve what the membership wants. Number 3, update the membership regularly on your progress. Aha, here I am. The task force had its first meeting on October 29, and it has been meeting every week since that date. Margot Johnson is our chair and is unfortunately not able to be here today because she's traveling. She's from Texas, which explains our logo, and she'll have to say it for you. It goes something like, "What y'all want?" I've been practicing, but I don't have it down. When you hear Margot, you'll get it. That's the Texas lingo. The members of the task force, and I think you'll agree it's a diverse group, Jürgen Ahlers, Phyllis Culp, Cliff Duran, Margot Johnson, John Simsarian, Jane Wilkinson, and Joan Wolfe. If you know these individuals, you'll know that we don't have any wallflowers there. People are very active in these weekly meetings that we are having. No chance for a nap. The task force members are all taking their membership on this task force extremely seriously. They're working very well together and understand how important their work is to the future of this fellowship. Over the course of the 6 meetings that we have so far have taken place, we produced many drafts of the survey back and forth and developed the survey instrument, which was distributed yesterday. So hopefully all members of the fellowship received their survey from the Task Force on Ministry yesterday. So far, I'm pleased to report that as of yesterday, that was yesterday that it went out, yesterday we received 42 responses, which is excellent. And it took an average of 14 minutes for somebody to finish the survey. That's an average. So, as I mentioned, the board of directors is looking for a report by February 1st So the task force needs to receive your responses. I know that people have strong opinions about this subject. This is your chance. Don't let us down. We need to hear from you. The survey went out to 250 people. So again, we need a good response. Please. You need to submit your completed survey by December 17 so we can have the information about what y'all want. We can then develop the report. So we need your information. This is your chance. The responses to the survey are completely anonymous. So we don't know who has submitted them, and we don't know who has said what. So they're anonymous responses. Please remember that if there's more than one person that shares an email address, one of them can copy that link, that same link, and use it on another email address. Again, we need full participation. Apparently, there was a glitch with the first survey that went out yesterday, but that has been corrected, and the survey that was recently sent to you is valid and ready to go. Again, cannot stress enough how much we want to hear from you by December the 17th. Please help us by completing the survey as soon as possible. We're looking forward to submitting a report to the board, and we would anticipate that there will be an opportunity for the report to be presented and discussed with the full membership as we go forward. Again, thank you very much, and thank you for your help and participation.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. If you are with us by Zoom today, just stay connected after the postlude video, which you will enjoy, ends to reflect on today's message and visit with today's speakers. Those of you here, please exit quickly and quietly so that you can visit each other outside and so that our speakers can sign on to the Zoom meeting with a quiet background in the room. Thank you for joining us today. And now, we'll hear from Dan Neuspiel with our COVID task report.
Variant, and we have persuasive information that it is more contagious than earlier strains of the coronavirus. We don't yet know if it causes more severe illness or if current vaccines are protective. However, since we do know that it spreads more easily, that should encourage us all to maintain our safety precautions. For those of you in the hall today, that means keeping your masks on throughout the service, including during singing. For those of you traveling over the holidays, it means quarantining for several days after your trip and then taking a COVID test. Many of you have seen announcements that Mexico has started to offer limited booster vaccines. Boosters for the Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines are not yet available here, and none are available yet in San Miguel. We'll let you know when we hear more information on this. Until next week, please be well. And now to Lee Knox with opening words.
Knox, and I add my welcome to everybody. Our theme today is joy, and is being presented by Frank Thoms and myself. Gary Belkin was supposed to be a presenter as well, but he got waylaid in Chicago when his passport was stolen. We are members of the Sunday Service Committee. Our opening words today are from the biblical book of Isaiah. For you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. We now light this chalice as a symbol of our gathered community. And now, please stand as you are willing and able to join together in singing hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Those of you here in person, please keep your masks on while you're singing. The words will appear on the screen.
As we were planning for this service, Joy was waiting for me on my bookshelf in Benjamin Hoff's The Dawe of Pooh, a gift my mother had given me at our last Christmas together. Opening the book, A. Milne's wisdom, addressed to the child in all of us, appeared. Now one autumn morning, when the winds had blown all the leaves off the trees in the night and was trying to blow the branches off, Pooh and Piglet were sitting in the thoughtful spot and wondering. What I think, said Pooh, is I think we'll go to Pooh Corner and see Eeyore, because perhaps his house has blown down, and perhaps he'd like us to build it again. What I think, said Piglet, is I think we'll go and see Christopher Robin, only he won't be there, so we can't. Let's go and see everybody, said Pooh, because when you've been walking in the woods for miles and you suddenly go into somebody's house and he says, "Hello, Pooh, you're just in time for a little smackerel of something," and you are, then it's what I call a friendly day. Piglet thought that they ought to have a good reason for going to see everybody, if Pooh could think of something. Pooh could. We'll go because it's Thursday. And we'll go and wish everybody a very happy Thursday. Come on, Piglet, let's go. And I would like to wish you all a very happy Sunday. Now, let us join together our voices to affirm our fellowship's covenant, first in English and then in Spanish, led by me and Hilary Toyryla. We respect the interdependent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant.
Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que beneficien en nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Esto es nuestro convenio.
Would you please join us now in this responsive reading, which will appear on the screen? I will begin, and I invite you all to join Frank in speaking the words in italics. We would go deeper.
We would become the selves that we cannot even imagine today.
We would become courageous.
We would grow to delight in congregations filled with different perspectives.
We would know unutterable joy.
We would be filled with gratitude.
May we go deeper.
May our time together open our hearts and sharpen our minds.
May our learning know no end.
May we find the sacred within us and around us.
May we see the beauty in each other's faces.
May we find our way to the depth of our being and there know holiness.
We invite you here to stand, as you are willing and able, to sing the slightly modified words of the traditional Yuletide carol, Joy to the World. The words will appear on the screen. Please keep your masks on while singing.
Before we hear joys and concerns from the fellowship, let us heed the words of the Persian poet and Sufi master, Rumi. Sorrow prepares you for joy. It violently sweeps everything out of your house so that new joy can find space to enter. It shakes the yellow leaves from the bough of your heart so that fresh green leaves can grow in their place. It pulls up the rotten roots so that new roots hidden beneath have room to grow. Whatever sorrow shakes from your heart, far better things will take their place.
Join me now as we move into a very special time in our service. It's a time when people can receive our fellowship's love and support as they shoulder challenging times or celebrate joyous occasions. And those of you tuning in on Zoom, if you have a joy or concern that you have not forwarded yet, invite you to do so through the chat. Our hearts go out to the community of Oxford, Michigan, and the families who lost children or suffered injuries at yet another school shooting this last week. We offer love and support for this tragedy and pray that these senseless shooting tragedies could end. And for our next candle, we turn our thoughts to Hawaii, which is experiencing blizzard-like conditions this weekend. We pray that all remain safe and warm in their homes. Our next candle is for thoughts for the Indonesian people whose Mount Semeru volcano erupted yesterday. May they also escape safely from any harm from the 4,000-foot cloud of ash that was spewed yesterday morning. I'd like to send, with this next candle, loving thoughts to my friend Christine Murphy, whom some of you may know, who tragically and suddenly lost her son 12 days ago. He was 51. Chris is flying back to San Miguel today. And the next candle is for Jay English, who passed away last Monday, November the 29th. His wife, Sybil, you may remember, used to sing at UU before moving to North Carolina. And our one final, let's see, a joy. I have a joy here from Jeannie Seward McGee. She says, today is my second son Mark's 47th birthday, and her message to him is, happy continuation day, darling. And one final candle we light for all the thoughts we leave unsaid, but hold in our hearts.
Thank you, Paula. That was so beautiful. I'm choking back tears of joy. Thank you so much for playing that song. Joy is not a limited resource. It is renewable. It spreads when you give it away. Consider this story. A woman who was traveling alone in the mountains found a precious stone in a stream. The next day, she met another traveler, a man, who was hungry. The woman opened her bag to share her food. The hungry traveler saw the precious stone in her bag and asked the woman to give it to him. She did so without hesitation. The traveler left, rejoicing in his great fortune. He knew that the stone was worth enough to give him security for a lifetime. But a few days later, he came back to return the stone to the woman. "I've been thinking," he said. "I know how valuable this stone is, but I want to give it back to you in the hope that you can give me something even more precious. Could you give me some of what you have within you that enabled you to give me the stone?" And now we welcome longtime member Betse Davies to the podium to share a few thoughts about one of the local NGOs that our fellowship supports.
Good morning. I'll take this off. I can take it off now. We help fund, through grants and special donations, 13 deserving NGOs within our San Miguel community. Some are newer and less well known, such as Niños con Autismo. Our grant to Niños con Autismo was for children and young adults from poor families identified to be on the autism spectrum. The well-certified therapists develop a program of therapy which is carried out with weekly sessions with the mother and child. Progress is evaluated on a regular basis, and changes in therapy are made to suit the new situation. This morning, I'd like to share a story of a current patient that tells you the value of our grants on a real family's life. The mother tells us that at age 2, her son Juan did not say a single word and did not even respond to his own name. That's a very common sign of autism. She and her husband knew something was wrong, but not where to receive help for it. Finally, through Patronato Pro Niños, another one of our grantees, we help fund, they were referred to Niños con Autismo. With their therapy, he developed a vocabulary of 20 words. But when his mother had her second child, he stopped talking altogether. But with additional therapy, he is once again talking and expanding his vocabulary. He now interacts with the family and other children, plays with toys instead of simply sitting on the floor watching them. The mother said, quote, "In truth, these improvements might be enough, but I hope that my son will continue to make progress, and I'm grateful for that. Autism is not a disease, but simply a condition, and working with a condition can help a child move forward. I was a little frightened before. It is difficult. I want to thank you. Please continue supporting us so our little children can move forward." Please note when you leave, I can see it from here, information on the wall to the right. It's a as you leave today. It tells you about Niños con Autismo fundraiser this very evening. You can go right to the address. And to find out the address so you don't have to copy all the numbers, send me an email. My email's on that list too. And I'll send you a copy with the colors so it'll be easy to go to. Thank you very much.
And now, let's join our voices together for this joyful seasonal favorite, hymn number 325 in our UU hymnal, Deck the Halls. 235. 235. Oh, I meant to write it that way too. Sorry. Number 235 in our UU hymnal, Deck the Halls. However, the words will also appear on the screen. Thank you.
What is the difference between happiness and joy? American author J.D. Salinger once wrote, "The most singular difference between happiness and joy is that happiness is a solid and joy is a liquid." Let me repeat that. Happiness is a solid and joy is a liquid. To which I say, what? I'm not quite sure what he meant by that, and I never could find an explanation. So let's move on. Psychologists say that joy is an emotion comprised of feelings of happiness, contentment, and harmony. It differs from happiness that it is not caused by a particular event, but comes from within the individual. Joy is not a thing you can see. It is not sunlight or moonlight, but a separate shining that comes from behind people's eyes. It is said that a person pursues happiness, but chooses joy. Joy seems to me to be a step beyond happiness. Joy is more consistent and is cultivated internally. It comes when you make peace with who you are and how you are and why you are. Whereas happiness tends to be based on other people, places, things, or events. If you won $1 million in the lottery, you'd be very happy. But if you started your own business and you worked really hard and you earned $1 million, you would feel joy. Though the outcome is the same, the feeling is different. The Dalai Lama says that if you possess calmness of mind and a degree of stability within, even if you lack the external factors that would normally make you happy, it is still possible to live a joyful life. He goes on to say that since having compassion is one of the main things that makes our lives meaningful, that it is compassion that is the source of all lasting joy. The controversial Irish playwright and political activist George Bernard Shaw said, "This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, being a force of nature, instead of being a selfish little clod full of grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to make you happy." Joy is a feeling of extreme happiness that arises from a sense of well-being and satisfaction. It comes from feelings of ease, appreciation, and meaning. It comes from having done the right thing. It comes from living an ethical life. Joy also comes from working toward a goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for everyone, which, after all, is one of our 7 principles as Unitarian Universalists. And now I invite Frank back to close today's service.
Today, we've looked at joy from many perspectives. We've talked of finding joy of community in the holidays as we begin to emerge from the COVID tunnel. We've heard from Winnie the Pooh. We've learned how joy comes from compassion. We've listened to wisdom from Rumi of how joy comes out of sorrow. And we've heard about the differences between joy and happiness. May we all try to cultivate joy in our lives, and let us strive to share joy with others. We extinguish this chalice, but not the flame which burns within us. Let us carry that light into the wider community. And after today's postlude video, we request that those attending in person quietly and quickly exit the hall. Please refrain from gathering in conversation until you are safely outside. We appreciate the room being quiet, so our speakers can sign on to Zoom and speak with the participants there. And now, please stay with us while we share this special video treat, which takes place in the main plaza of Sabadell, Spain, just north of Barcelona.